Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Wind.
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. And today, guys, Dave, you've brought somebody super special along with you, brother. Who'd you bring along today?
I got Vinh Ngo from Houston, Texas. Vinh, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Hey, thank you, Devin, and thank you, David, for inviting me to the show. It has been a pleasure. Doing good.
Awesome, man. So Houston market, and you're out there doing just amazing things, my friend. Are you from Houston originally? Is that where you got started?
Yeah, so I was born in Vietnam. When I was 12, I immigrated with my family to the US, and Houston has been my home ever since. And growing up here, going to school and going to college and everything and stuff like that. So I have never left Houston for any other city. For vacation, yes, but I have never lived in another city for any period of time. So I don't know how they like, but Houston has always been in my heart the whole time. And I'm so glad I can be able to, help my community and give back to my community.
That's awesome. So you went to school in Houston. You graduated college, and you said, "Hey, I want to be a realtor." Did you go right into the industry? How'd you get here?
So everything was kind of like a chance. I was going to college for pharmacy. That didn't work out. I took a semester of it, totally failed out. I was like, man, this is boring. And so, but I always had like an art background, so I always wanted to be an artist. And I was like, okay, well, I should study art. And then so I took on painting, and when I graduated painting with a teacher minor. And so I was like, okay, I can't be a starving artist. So I was like, oh, well, I might as well be a teacher. And so I be a teacher, a high school teacher for 7 years, teaching advanced art. And then one day I was like, hey, I'm so fed up with this education system and how they're not appreciating teachers and stuff like that. And I feel so bad. I love the kids and everything. But I was like, maybe I need to do something else with my life because it doesn't matter how hard I try in the education system, it's not gonna advance me to the next level.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of way for me to give back to the community because I don't have the financial support. And so I was like, hey, maybe I need to make a change. And so I always want to, like, always interested in real estate. So I was like, hey, maybe I need to take real estate course to see how it is. And I see my friends being very successful in the field. I was like, man, I have all these like video skills and photography skills and art skill that I can all bring it together to this industry. So why not? And so I took the course, and 3 months later, I took the test, passed, and I went to a broker. And first 6 months was crazy hard because I couldn't get any deals. I stayed in the industry for 5 months before I get my first sale, and that was super tough because I have to give like agent contribution back to the buyer and stuff like that. So after I minus all the broker fees and everything, I literally bring home like $3,000.
Yeah.
And $3,000 for 6 months, man, that's like nothing. And so I bring it to my wife. Well, I kind of talk a lot, but I bring it to my wife, and I was like, man, it's 6 months here, but here's my paycheck. I give you everything I earn. And she cried. She asked me like, do you consider going back to teaching because it's more stable? Why do you go into this path? Because it's super hard. And I was like, man, but I really like my chances. I think I could really succeed. I just need more time. I was like, maybe give me another 6 months. Why don't you come in and help me? Because I think like you have a lot of different skills that we can all bring together and work together, and maybe we can build this business together. And then she was like, maybe. Let me see what I can do because she already have a two full-time jobs. She working two full-time jobs on top of like helping me, and I was like, man, that's crazy. And then we had a kid, and I had to send the baby to Vietnam for 3 months because we just so like, try to pick up the business all together. And after that, everything just picked up once he joined in. and it has been a pleasure ever since. Over like a year and a half, we've done over 60 sales, um, and then 50 plus leases. We still have things under contract and on the way, so can't complain.
Well, that's
Yeah, I think
awesome.
Vin, I think you've been in real estate what, 2 years?
Yeah, like yeah, 2 years, 2 year officially 2 years at the end of July. But the first 6 months, I mean, like it's basically just try to learn as much as you can. I never miss a meeting. My broker has like weekly training every week, and I was like, man, I need that. I need that all the time, and I need to find different training I need to go to, and trying to be, stay in it and learn as much as I could. Because I think knowledge is the foundation of everything. So that's how I was a teacher, so I understand how, how important education is. So I went into that
Yeah.
thinking, first 6 months, like maybe a year, I need to learn as much as I could, gain as much experience as I could, and maybe that could build my credibility and my brand, and hopefully people will start seeing that and send me clients.
Hey, so Vin, what changed, right? I know you said you got education, you brought your wife in, but you went from 6 months, $3,000 in income. You had the foresight to say, I'm not going to give up. But how did you go from 6 months and almost no income to closing over 60 transactions? What happened?
So what really changed, I believe, was the marketing tactic that we use. And before that, my broker was training me about it, but I'm really not putting like 100% in it, so I don't really see like the result coming out of it until my wife come in and we like we're really strong with like the graffiti, like designing, video, photos and stuff like that. So why don't we use that to our strength, because we
Hmm.
could really make something out of it and post it on social media everywhere. And so once she joined in, she be able to help me post it into like so many different Vietnamese groups here in Houston, and that would take a lot of work out of my end, so I can focus on doing my things like the contract and go and show houses and stuff like that. So she can constantly like stay engaged online, answering people questions, advising my clients on my behalf. So that's why it really helped bring my business to the next level that way. And then slowly start people to seeing me on social media more and more, and in the
Yeah.
Vietnamese community, they start to recognize my presence, and I think that really helped to build my brand up. And a year and a half later, and also I built a team too. So a lot of work is on my part. Then after everything that I learned, I want to pass that back to my team member, um,
Yeah.
because they in the same shoe. Like they've been in the business for a while, but they got stuck at some point. Like they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They can't make a sale, something like that. So I try to train them everything related to contract or marketing, and hopefully one day they bloom like I am.
Well, that's so smart. And when I heard you say, Vin, is you got plugged into a community, right? You said, hey, we've got these groups that we can get involved in, and build a reputation for people to know, like, and trust us. But then you made sure you had people on the back end to support that, so you could stay focused on the activity that you knew was going to bring in the money, right? Going over the contracts, having the communication,
Yes.
getting out there and working with the people. We call that staying focused on the money making activity, right? Because at the end of the day, you're one person, but when you realize bringing on additional support staff allows you to multiply your efforts, and keep you focused on the part of the activity that's really going to bring in those dollars, right? That's where that success starts to happen. And you had the foresight to say, it's not just about that, but I also need to make sure I continue to educate myself, because if I'm getting smarter about the market and smarter about how I'm presenting myself to the world, then I'm going to be able to attract more people to my business and do a better job of it. So, kudos to you, right, for having the mindset of I'm not going to fail. Failure's not an option. I'm not going to give up at $3,000. I know there's money out there for me. I'm just going to get better. I'm going to get better at what I do, man. And That's inspiring. That's an inspiring story, man, brother. Dave, I love that you brought him here because this is the kind of things that people need to hear, is that when you get stuck down at the bottom sometimes and you get scared, you can't just give up. You got to have that confidence and that belief inside of yourself to get up and do the things that it takes. And here you are, Vin, and you're having great success, man. What an amazing story.
Well, I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would have quit after 6 months of making $3,000.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know how you financially supported yourself during that time. But here's the second part. Did you not hear him say he has a newborn baby, and they made a decision to ship the baby to Vietnam for 3 months so him and his wife could dedicate themselves to the business. Talk about dedication to a business. You know, making sure. I mean, whenever we talk about I'm all in, burn the ships. I think Vin and his wife were all in, burn the ships down. They were going to make it successful in real estate, or they weren't going to make it.
Yeah, I know. It was a hard decision because, like she was literally only like 6, 7 months old when we sent her
Yeah.
back to Vietnam. And man, I miss her like crazy. And I was like, man, I miss that part. And that when we sent her off, we planned to send her off for 6 months. And then we were like, 3 months gone by, and I was like, man, I miss her so much. I can't just like, like focus on work and forget my family like this because I want to be there for my kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so 3 months in, I was like, no, I need her back here with me because, it doesn't matter how hard it is. Yeah, I want to see my kid every day. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean, like over a year and a half, I built a team of 9 people now, including me. And so we had weekly training. We have on-field training. I invite like loan officers coming over, like title people coming over, inspector coming over. I try to, networking with different area of real estate, and then try to ask those people to come in and bring those knowledge in, and hopefully, that will lift my team up altogether. And you know, things work well so far.
No, brother, you're doing all the right stuff though, because you're building a community for the people that you're teaching and you're training, And effectively, you're bringing in all the outside support so you can learn the market and understand it well. And what does that do? It makes you more rounded for the consumers that you're serving, right? And at the end of the day, it's helping your team members, find success through education. So, again, you're building it the right way and you're doing it very smart. So I want to ask you a question because you mentioned video and you mentioned bringing that into it. You hadn't done that in the beginning. Talk about that, right? What do you do with video? Like, how are you using video to leverage your success in the industry?
Yeah, so learning photography and video was by chance as well. I used to join like a nonprofit organization all the time, and I met some people there. They like professional videographer and photographer, and so I bought my camera, learning through them over the years. And then when I was teaching, I do that on my as my side job. So I shoot like weddings, I shoot like outdoor photographies for people. I take on the gigs, and David mentioned earlier, like how do I stay alive in that 6 months with only $3,000? Like I advertised on my photography during that time. I was like, I need to survive, and so I go out and shoot on the weekend for like weddings and stuff like that, just to get some money to support my family. Um, but yeah, that's how I bring that into real estate because I know how important it is to like videos and photos and how you present yourself online and how you present yourself, on YouTube and stuff like that. So I bring all of those skills in, and I feel like that's something that's unique about me because I already have those background and I have an art background, so I can see something like, does it look nice? Does it not look nice? And if I need to clean here, like organize this here over there, so it look nicer. So I feel like that it all come together. I feel like if I started real estate a few years earlier, I wouldn't have that skill. That skill wouldn't be ripe enough for me to like harvest. So, jumping in like 2022 was the right time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you were preparing to be a realtor even before you knew it. And all the skills that you learned
Yeah.
in photography and editing, you can now transition that into, because a lot of people don't realize this, but most real estate agents, they manage their own marketing campaigning. They manage all the video content that's going out on the internet. It's not like they've got these big broadcast companies behind them. It's you, right? You're owner, operator, and it's all about what you're willing to put into creating that success. And I can tell you right now, Vin said, I'm willing to go all in, right? I'm pushing my cards all in, and
Mhm.
and you're doing an amazing job with it. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Dave, brother, you always know how to find great guests.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. So Vin, 2 years in the business. Past life was a school teacher. I mean, we just
Mhm.
talked about numbers, having tremendous success. In a year and a half, he's done over 60 transactions. He actually caters to the Vietnamese community. He does do business with all ethnic groups, but right now it's almost 90% is in the Vietnamese community. Let's talk about that a little bit, Vin, because I know you don't buy any leads. Everything you do is organic. Everything is self
Mhm.
produced. Um,
Yeah.
where are you getting your leads from? Like, can you break it down for the realtors out there? I mean, because there's a lot of realtors
Yeah.
out there that are having no success
Yeah,
and been in the
Mhm.
business 15, 20 years.
that's right.
Yeah. I feel, yeah, I feel like uh, how you present yourself online, how you build your branding and credibility is so much important. Like when you get your deal, something like, oh, I just want to get this deal over and get my paycheck. Because if you do that, then basically you only get the paycheck, but you're not building a lifetime business, like a long term business, right? I always tell my team members like, hey, think of real estate as a marathon. You know, you can want to run long and run fast, and you want to be safe, and you want to do it like for a long time. So it's not like a 400-meter run where you just run for a short period of time and stop, right? So that's why like I pay attention to every little detail that I put into my client, even like things like really small things like even if it's a lease house, like a house for lease, I bring my decoration in, I decorate the whole house, I take pictures myself, I even take drones. Sometimes I do like video advertising that house too. And like all the agent, they're gonna be like, oh, it's just a lease, what are you gonna get out of it, like $1,000, 1200 out of it. Then if they think like that, they're not gonna put that extra effort into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I do that extra effort into it, I build a branding for myself. People start seeing how I work, and they start trusting me.
Yeah.
After like X amount of time, amount of clients, then people like my friends start seeing me on Facebook all the time. I have a lot of friends on Facebook, so they start seeing my success, and they mean like, Vin must have been doing something right for him to gain all this success. So then they
Yeah.
start coming back and trust me, and I feel like trust don't come easy. You can't just get out to the business and be like, hey, you are my best friend. You need to support me. The world don't work that way. The world, they need to they work with somebody that they trust. Even if you are the best friend, but if you not don't have the knowledge to get them what they want, I mean, you can't blame them for not choosing you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once I work enough and build the branding good enough, I feel like my friends are starting to come back and trust me for my work ethic, for my way of doing things, and that's just how I keep getting referral as well. On top of what I'm producing online through my advertisement, and we only do Facebook marketing and YouTube a little bit, and then sometimes we get referrals, and then we do like festival, like here in Houston we have a Vietnamese cultural fest. It hosts very big in Houston, and it's in September. It's actually like a week away, and we host like a booth there, and we try to get connection with a lot of Vietnamese people. Yeah, that's how we marketing ourselves everywhere. But we don't buy leads. We're like, I see a lot of my realtor friends who in my network, and they ask me, hey Vin, how you get your leads, like do you buy them? I'm like, no, I don't buy any leads. I never spent any, not even a dime on leads, you know. But I guess everybody have different way. I'm not saying that buying leads doesn't work. Maybe it does work for some people, and you just have to test it out. But it's just for me, I feel like generating a lead where they already kind of know you, who you are, and your credibility and things like that is kind of easier to get that sale happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they don't know who you are, just kind of randomly cold calling them, then it's a lot harder for you to get that sale.
Well, Vin, people do
So
business with
Vin,
people sorry, Dave. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, and that's what you've done. You've built a network of people that have begun to know, like, and trust you. And one of the things you said that was really smart, and I've heard this before, is a lot of agents don't like to do the leases because they don't pay as much. And you're right. If you're looking for an immediate monetary value, they don't pay as much. However, leasers become purchasers. And more importantly, they know other people. And when you do a great job of going out and serving them and helping them find their home, even knowing that it's not going to make you the most money, they're going to talk about that. And when it comes time for them to buy a house, they're going to remember you because you provided them an excellent service and you took great care of them. But then also, when they have a friend or a family member who is in the market to do something, guess what? They're going to remember Vin because Vin was out there doing the things that it took when everybody else said, hey, it's not worth my time. Yeah, don't make enough money. Right. And I think that's the problem that we have with some people is they want to leave with the wallet. You can't leave with the wallet. You got to leave with your heart. People will do business with you because they know you're doing it for the right things and great things come back in return. And now here you are following that exact concept and what great success you're having, man.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that. I can't complain anything about everything that's happened. Um, Another thing I want to talk about was learning how to let go too. Sometimes you need to learn how to let go because there are a lot of times when I face with a client where it's really hard to deal with. And you just gotta learn how to let go, man. You just can't serve everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you want to serve everybody, then you gotta end up being very stressed, and your spirit goes down. You just feel like this is not worth it and all that stuff. And I feel like learning that, but that is very tough for new agent because they try to survive. They want to get every deals that they can, and if you're telling them that they need to drop that client, ooh, that's gonna be a tough call, you know
Yeah.
but sometimes you got to make it.
My man.
well, I want to talk a little bit about your team. You so you have 9 people on your team now. Is that right? All underneath you.
Yes, yes, including
And,
me.
and,
So I
and
have 8 other people here.
so, did you hire all of them, or did your branch just put these people on your team?
So it's all happened organically too. Man, everything come to me like just like my chance. To be honest, I was in the business at my former broker for I think 8 months, and then he was asking me like they had like a revenue share system kind of thing, and they asking me, hey, do you want to take in somebody that you want to that you can train? At that time, I kind of know quite a little bit, so I was like, hey, why not? And she was my former friend too, so we haven't talked to each other for a long time, but certainly she came to my broker to interview, and so she mentioned my name to my broker, and so my broker put her under me. I was like, okay, well, I can train you, and then one thing lead to another agent coming in, and he was like, hey, Vin, you already trained one, why don't you train two? I'm like, okay, throw it to me, and then I trained two, and then happened like another thing happened after another, like another agent coming in, and one asking me, my friend asking me, and everybody just all come together. I never ever hire anybody or I want to build a team, but everybody just word of mouth, and they all come to me asking me to be on my team. I feel like it has been a blessing to have all of those members on my team because a team is very hard to manage if they don't work well together or if they don't
Mm.
if they not if their personality don't match. Then you have like dramas and you have people thinking this and that and talk back and forth and stuff like that. I don't want any of that stuff. As a business owner, I already dealing with clients. That's a lot to work with. That's a lot to deal with already. I don't want to come home to my team and they have problems. And so picking team member was one of the tough thing to do. Originally we had 10. Originally we had 10, but I had to let one member go because he just didn't align with my vision. And like I said before,
Mm.
like, it's a tough call. And he's my top producer too. He closing every month. But I'm like, you know, just because you're my top producer doesn't mean that, you can just do things your way. We have to do things right and we have to do things where everybody is comfortable doing and everybody have to follow the same system. Otherwise I can't. Like if you're doing your own thing, how am I gonna tell my other team members? you know, and they're gonna start seeing you as an example and doing their own thing too. And I'm like, how am I gonna manage my team now? So I have to make that hard decision to let him go, but it's tough, but it need to happen. Yeah.
Well, Vin, you're so smart, brother. The first thing is you're leading with your education background. So you're able to bring these people in, and you already know how to educate because it's something you've done for a time. But then, you mentioned a word, and you said vision. You said they didn't align with my vision, and any successful organization, there has to be a vision. It has to be clear to where everybody on the team understands the vision, and everybody on the team has to be working towards the same goals to achieve that vision. And so, again, another just, pro tip coming right out of your mind is, you can't keep those people that are trying to run their own direction on the team, even if they're great, because it doesn't allow for your vision to come true. And man, I've got a lot of admiration for you to having the confidence to say you're a great producer, but you can't be on my team because this just doesn't work. You know where you're going. You know where you're taking your team, and man, that's why you're having such success because there's not a question as to what you're trying to accomplish. You know what you're doing. You know where you're taking it. So you're a true
I just
professional.
hope,
And
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I just hope the next few years would be a blessing as well. You never know like the real estate industry how everything gonna be. But I'm just gonna stick to who I am, to what I
Yeah.
do best, and just keep running to see where life takes me.
Well, I'm
Well,
going to pull
Vin,
out that.
if
Yeah,
you
go
were
ahead,
able
Dave.
to survive the last 2 years, which was
Yeah.
the worst 2 years in real estate in probably the last 20 years, I have a feeling the next 2 years is going to be tremendous blessings, and Vin is going to blow up like no other, no other. I can't wait to see what you do in the next 2 years.
You
Yeah.
took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, crystal ball, full disclosure, the mortgage and real estate market's about to transition into a really great place. You've set the stage. You've brought in the right people. You've set the model and the precedents. This is what we expect here. And, as a result of that, you're providing amazing service to the communities that you serve, right? Because your team understands your goals and your vision. Yeah, I'm with Dave on this one. I think we'll be looking up here in the next 24 months, and man, I think you're going to be amazed at what your group performs at, man. The levels you guys are going to be at. So, man, Dave, brother, hey, thank you for bringing Vin on here today. Vin, we'd love to keep you here all day, but we know you've got stuff to do. What have we not covered today that we should have?
No, I think we cover everything. Thank you for the chance to the opportunity to be on the show and just kind of talk about my journey. I hope that it's gonna help some people to see how it is, how hard it is to be a real estate agent. A lot of people just look into the industry and be like, hey, you get 3% for every sale, and that must be a lot of money. But they don't see the behind the scene. You
Yeah.
talk to client until they want to stop. Like we talk to client until 12 a.m., 1 a.m. We still answering text or phone call sometime, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's not the life that people imagine when they look at this industry. But you gotta do what you gotta do, and a lot of the time I tell my team like, hey, you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle. Like every day, you need to
do.
wake up and know what you gotta do. Like what you gotta post today. What are you gonna do today? Are you gonna if you have free time, you don't know what to do. You need to go do some marketing, some video,
Yeah.
something. You can't just sit alone and just expect life to come to you or like success to come to you. It's just not gonna happen that way. But
Amen.
yeah, yeah, and thank you for inviting me to the show, man. I hope it helps a lot of people to have an insight into this industry and feel inspiration to keep going, like I do. First 6 months, one sale. Here I am now. Keep going,
Okay.
guys. You can make it. Yeah. But yeah, if you're in the Houston area, give me a call if you ever want to chat to find a house. Looking for a house, looking for a house to rent. You have a house living up for sale for lease. Anything like that. Give me a call. My number is 832-955-2592. 832-955-2592. Again, my name is Vinh Ngo. Thank you, guys.
You just saw that run right across the bottom of the screen, and you heard the man. He's going to take amazing care of you, and it doesn't matter what culture or community you're in. He's going to find you a home. His team's going to go to work. They're going to provide you with excellent service. Like you said earlier, he's consistently educating the people that are around him to make sure that they're at the top of their game. So when you're thinking real estate in that Houston market, you need to think about Vin and just call that number. If you are not watching, but you're listening, run over to the description and you'll find all of his contact information there. We want you to give Vin a call because you're going to be really, really happy with the level of service that's provided from somebody who cares, for somebody that's willing to do whatever it takes. And that's what it's all about, guys. Again, Dave, thank you for bringing on Vin. Anything you'd like to say to our guest before we let him get out of here today?
No, it's just like I said, man. It's been a pleasure. I want to commend this young man here. If you heard him, remember he came here to the United States from Vietnam at the age of 12 years old. He's a first generation immigrant that grew up here, wasn't given anything through hard work and sheer endurance. He's built a real estate empire in about a 2-year period, and he's grown his business. I'm excited to see what happens for you. So you're definitely living the American dream, brother. And so if you're looking for real estate in the Houston area, call my man Vin.
Thank you, guys.
Let's
Thank you so
go.
much.
Let's go. Hey, great stuff, guys. Well, we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Nguyen.
And I'm Vinh Ngo.
Vin No, man, he gets me every time. Vin No in the house today. Hey, and if you want to check us out, come over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. But if you want to check the video out, and we think you should, come over to YouTube, catch us at the Dubuc team. We'll also be at the Dubuc team on IG, Facebook, TikTok. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Until the next time, we'll see you then.